You sound like you smoke 3 packs of cigarettes a day, is what I was told by this boy, Marcus, in 2021 summer at this basketball sleepaway camp. It was my first time that I was away from home for such a long time, especially. And I remember feeling so distraught because I was so confused as to why I was being picked on this thing that I was always told that my voice was so deep and so much different from everyone else around me. I remember Marcus saying to me, "How is your voice deeper than mine?" That one really got me. And when I was talking to my parents, they tried to boost me up and build me with all these confidence, but I was already feeling insecure about my skill level, and he kicked me when I was down, and he made me feel inferior, and I couldn't quite recover. I remember being so fed up, and the next day, I spoke to my coach at the camp, and I said, "Hey, coach, Marcus, can you do something about him? Because, I've been trying my best, and he's been picking on me every single day." And my coach response to me was, he says, "Samirah, you're going to really let Marcus get to you? You have to toughen up to be a basketball player. You can't just let people say whatever they want to you. Marcus isn't on your level. Forget about him." But the reality was, it wasn't necessarily about Marcus's comments. It was the fact that people were picking on me, something that I couldn't control. My self-confidence was distraught about it. I couldn't recover. And I remember feeling pretty miserable by the time the camp was over. So with that story, I want to ask you all a question. And this question comes with much discourse between generations. And that is bullying in fact a rite of passage? Is bullying something that young people should go through to face adversity, to get ready for the real world? Or is it really more detrimental than that? You'll hear adults in your life, and maybe you may be someone who possesses this same rhetoric or ideology, that bullying helps you toughen up. You'll hear adults say often, "You wouldn't have been able to survive in my generation. We were a lot tougher than this. We had everything thrown at us." Or that bullying just helps you become a stronger person. But the idea about saying that bullying is a rite of passage is that it diminishes everyone's experience, everyone's trauma, and they're made to feel like they need to cope with this wrong idea. It's the idea that after you're bullied, you may feel so horrible in the moment, but you'll become a stronger person because of it. You'll conform and you'll learn how to work with the world around you, and you'll be fine. And I want to ask you all a question now to keep at the forefront of your mind as I do my talk. And for those who have been bullied before or witnessed it, how would you have turned out differently if you weren't bullied? How would you have been able to see the world differently? Or what other creative pursuits would you have done if you weren't picked on for the things that made you you? Would you have still been distraught and sitting in the corner and not expressing yourself and turn out the same way? Or would you be a stronger, better person from it? And that's a pretty deep question, so I want to leave you all with that while I give you all a case study. In the 1960s, NASA did a test, and they wanted to see who would work at NASA in the future. What was this new generation like? What could they do? So they tested 1,600 children from the ages of 3 to 5 for this idea of this creative genius level. And an astounding 98% of those children reached that creative genius level. Now, they tested them again. This time, they were from the ages of 10 to 15, and now only 30% of them hit that creative genius level. That's a pretty big decrease from the time from before. And now they found these same children, now adults in their careers, outside of education, and this time they tested them, and only 2% of them hit this creative genius level. What does that mean? Well, children are born with an immense amount of creative potential, but as they grow through their education system and through ideas from their peers, they start to decrease and they conform. And it would be a bit naive for me to only say that the attribute from the creative genius level would only be from bullying, because that's wrong. It could be from other factors, but I want to do a test then. Let's see if this is true. So at schools, I asked children, had they been bullied before? So I want to ask you all the same thing. If you felt like you've been bullied before, I need you just to clap. Clap your hands if you've been bullied before. Okay, don't be shy. Clap, clap, clap. I'm no mathematician, but that seems about 90% of the room has felt like they've been bullied before. So I want to ask you all that same question again. How would you have turned out differently if you didn't face this adversity? Bullying at its core may just be negative ideas being spewed at you. Hey, I don't like the outfit that you're wearing, or you don't look like me, I'm gonna pick on you. But it's more than that. It triggers you at your core. It affects who you are as a person. It makes you think differently. Because when I was bullied because of my voice. And I wanted to make my voice smaller. I would often make my voice as high-pitched as possible so that I can be like everyone else around me. That same outgoing kid would physically make herself smaller in rooms, not want to participate for games as quickly as I used to because I was scared that everyone had their eyes on me. So if I didn't experience that, how different would I have been? Reflect on those experiences. It's this idea that children need to have this support. And I'm giving you all a lot of facts, a lot of negative facts, in fact, because no one wants their kid to face bullying. They just want to teach their kid adversity. So how can I teach my kid adversity and prepare them for the real world without having them to have to go through all this trauma and negativity that sometimes leave irreversible scars? Here's my proposition to you, and I'm going to give two pieces of advice. One for the adults in the room to act accordingly, and then one for the kids in the room so that they can become better people and change makers in the world. For the adults, support your kids. Understand this is a completely different generation. The same things that you had to cope with when you were an adult that had you turning out fine shouldn't be acceptable for your generation. You shouldn't want your kids to just turn out fine. You should want them to be exceptional and become better people in the world. You should want your kids to express themselves in the way that they want to. Understand them, sit down with them, have conversations about their identity, who they are, and how they can be progressive people in the world. Re-spark that creative genius level that we lost back in the 60s. Teach them that they're able to express their passions in so many different outlets and introduce them to those passions. For the children in the room, my peers, bullies thrive off the idea of isolation. They make you think that you are different from the people around you. They make you think that the quirky thing that you have or that difference that you were born with that you can't control is so abnormal and therefore you are not worthy of the acceptance that people give you. They'll teach you this idea. They'll really mess with your head. So the idea to stop bullying in schools and in other places where your peers are is togetherness. If you are together in a front, there's no way that a bully can bully a group of you all. You guys are so confident in yourselves. You guys are so passionate about the endeavors that you are pursuing that a bully can't isolate you from what you know is true about yourself. A bully can't tell you who you are if you already know who you are. Understand that the things that make you different aren't necessarily bad things. In fact, they make you more powerful. If I was told right then and there at my basketball camp that my voice would lead me to be on a TEDx stage right now, I would have acted so much differently. Understand that your purpose has a call for you. Understand that the things that you want to pursue are right. You don't have to follow a very conventional route. You can pursue arts and dance and singing and sports and whatever inspires you and makes you who you think that you are. You don't have to conform. If everyone else in a room is playing basketball, be the person that's singing in the corner. You don't have to be what everyone else is doing. You can be yourself. You don't need to conform. And if you're really resonating with what I'm saying, take it a step further. I'm challenging you all right now. Don't just be an ally. Go out and do something positive in the world. I saw that the bullying epidemic and the idea that young people were straying away from their passion, that was so important to me, and I was so upset by that. I saw young people with my own eyes love to sing and dance, stop doing those things. So the idea for you all is start a passion project, start a nonprofit, go rally in your neighborhood, go be with your peers, go express yourself the way you want to express yourself. And you don't have to do it like me. You don't have to start a nonprofit. You don't start a nonprofit about bullying if that's not your passion. Start about whatever you like to do. If you love to play sports, you start a convention at your local school and raise charity profits for a local dog shelter because animals matter to you. It doesn't have to be a blueprint, and that's what's so beautiful about it. Express yourselves the way that you want to express yourselves. You are truly never too young to make a change, and that's the name of my nonprofit. So finally, for the adults in the room, remember that this is a different generation that we are living in. And for the kids, express yourselves the way that you want to express yourself and understand who you are. Thank you.